Today, we learned that an American soldier was detained in Russia last week on suspicion of theft and is currently being held in pretrial detention. Per the U.S. Army, the soldier had traveled to Russia on his own and not on official business and is accused of stealing from a woman. Though the exact number is unknown, arrests of Americans in Russia have increased. Some cases are more known than others. Perhaps the best-known case is Brittney Griner, a WNBA All-Star and two-time Olympic gold medalist, who in February 2022 was stopped at a security checkpoint at a Moscow airport. Officials said they found vape canisters containing cannabis oil in her luggage. Griner played basketball in Russia during her off-season, something many WNBA players do to supplement their league salaries. After being found guilty of drug smuggling and possession charges, Griner was sentenced to 9 years in a Russian penal colony, thrusting her into the international spotlight as a pawn on Putin's chessboard. Many feared how Griner would be treated in Russia as a black queer woman and high-profile American, especially during a time when Russia was invading Ukraine. In the U.S., Griner's wife, Cherelle Griner, lived a different nightmare, in a perpetual state of waiting while becoming the public face to bring Brittney, known to her family and friends as BG, home. 7 months in a penal colony in Russia, known for its harsh conditions. Griner said she contemplated suicide and has recently shared more details on the harrowing days. Being left outside in the frigid Russian winter for hours, having to get permission to cut her frozen locks in prison. She was finally released on the tarmac in the United Arab Emirates in exchange for a Russian arms dealer. It's been 17 months since her detention in Russia, and life isn't what it once was. But in her first cable television interview, we get to hear about the story from Brittney Griner herself. Brittney, thank you for being here.
Thank you.
I appreciate you being here to talk to me. Your book is so good. It's so poignant. It might have given me a nightmare or two, but it's important, I think, that you told this story because it strikes me that only you could have been in the situation that you were in for a lot of reasons. And we're gonna get into some of those. But I pulled some quotes from your book that I want to read to you. I'm going to read you to you. And this is the first one that struck all of us on the team. And it says, "Fear takes many forms. There's the kind you feel when life sneaks up from behind and frightens you half to death. Some people freeze, others run. I'm usually the one who fights like hell. When I saw those cartridges, not one, but two, different types of fear shuddered through me. There was the instinct to fight, flee, or freeze. Instead, my body went into a major free fall, as if I'd stumbled off a cliff and plunged into the ocean." Talk to me about that moment when you realized that those cartridges had accidentally remained in your bag, in the airport, in Russia.
It was definitely a free fall. It was just like, you ever been so scared, like something just really like to the core, not, a little ghost scare, but I'm talking like really loved one in danger type fear. That feeling is what went through my whole body. I literally saw my life flash before my eyes. I was like, it's over. BG is no more in that moment. And I was definitely afraid.
Were you sure then? Because, part of this story is the fact that you were a star in Russia. You were on the ACAT team. You were the star of that team. Russian kids run up to you and want your autograph. Did part of you think, no, they're gonna let me go?
There was a little hope, but then at the same time, I also understand the relations in between, our countries, and I'm like, then that's not gonna slide.
Yeah. And you talk about not just that, but being forced to sign something.
Yeah.
Now, you don't speak Russian.
Not at all.
And no one there spoke English. They finally get somebody from Duty Free
store
to come over and try to translate. When you finally relented after being prodded and needled to sign this paper, what did you think you were signing?
I had no idea what I was signing. I knew I was signing something that probably needed to be read to me. My dad's history in law enforcement and all that. So I knew this was something that needed to be explained to me. By me signing this paper, what am I saying? What am I agreeing to? What rights am I giving up? It was none of that. It was just a duty-free worker that came over and said, you sign here in very broken English. It wasn't even, you have to sign this paper because this is giving up your rights or you're admitting to. None of that.
And I mean, you played for 7 years in Russia, so you know a little something about the country. You felt you had an affinity for the country. But in that moment, as you're thinking, okay, I am going to be arrested, you write about your arrest, and you're told you're going to be taken to the Khimki police station. It's a temporary detention center. It's like a county jail.
Yes.
So now you know, okay, not only are they arresting me, but I'm really going to be taken to jail.
Yes.
Did you think in that moment, Brittney Griner, am being taken to jail, or did you think in that moment, wait a minute, I am a black, queer woman in a country in which I am a super minority and not necessarily an embraced minority, and what in the world is that jail going to be like for me?
I was terrified when I was thinking about going to that jail because I was like, what games are they going to play? And I soon found out one of the games on trying to tell me to go into one of the men's cells, and I'm like, I'm not going in that cell. And then the other guard, you know, said something in Russian and shook his hand, and then they take me to the women's side, and I was just like, see, it's a game, you know? And I knew all that was stacked against me. Did you believe that you were targeted deliberately, that people knew who you were, knew that you were landing on that flight, and deliberately targeted you? I believe so, yes. I wholeheartedly believe that. It was the whole going through, doing the transfer, how I was singled out to come over when there's a flood of people walking through, not being scanned, things not getting searched. And I saw the people that were getting, you know, asked to come to the side. I was like, there was a tip, I don't know, something, they knew I was coming through. And when you got to the jail, you write a lot about the isolation of being in a cell alone. You write about the pain of the ride. I mean, you're a tall person. Yes. 6'9", 6'9", and trying to fit into a car where they're not concerned about your physical health and your physical safety. I wonder if you think that the people in that jail knew who you were and decided that they were then going to further target you. The bullying, you know, it was striking to see that you write about the way that you were sort of made a spectacle. Yes. Turned into a spectacle. Yes. In your mind, was it simply your identity, or do you think, we know who this is, we're just going to mock her? They definitely knew who I was, because I would hear little things like the American, the basketball American. Yeah. And it was just, I would see the little hole where they could see you. They would lift that up all the time, all hours of the night. I would hear it go up and down and snickering and the laughing, and I'm like, okay, I'm the zoo animal today. Yeah. I'm the zoo animal they get to come see. I think one of the most tragic things about the narrative that you wrote is that, you know, you write about that not being the first time that you felt that way. You write about being always the tallest, yes. About always being different, even growing up. Yep. And so it strikes me as doubly tragic to feel, as you said, like the zoo animal, when for you, other than playing basketball and sports getting you out of that feeling just growing up, talk a little bit about that. Definitely always felt like I was the outsider. You know, I vividly remember, it was like 6th, 7th grade, you know, another girl literally came up to me, touched my whole chest and was like, see, she's not a girl. Like the voice being a little bit deeper, the height. I was always the spectacle. I was always ooh, look how different you are. And I've always felt that. I mean, I am different. When I walk in a room, people notice how different I am. And it took me a little bit, but I embraced it. But that moment being in that prison and how they were treating me, it took me back to that spectacle of my childhood. I mean, even to the point of essentially threatening to put you in the madhouse. Yes. Trying to force you to admit that you're a drug addict, using all the stereotypes of a black person, that you must be a drug addict, asking you, when did you decide you were gay, and decide that you were gay, and trying to sort of, you know, needle you in that way. Yeah, it was so great. I was like, I didn't decide, you know, that I was gay. Like, I knew this, and when I said it and it was translated to them, you could just see their faces like, what? Like, no, that's not right. When did you choose, you know? When did you start having sick thoughts? And I said, I never started having sick thoughts. And then being told that they're going to throw me in basically the madhouse if I didn't admit to my guilt. Take me back before that, because you had to have obviously developed some skills growing up in dealing with bullying. And as somebody who has dealt with a little bullying and, you know, and understands that on some level as well, sports and athletics does actually help a lot. It does.
It gives you something for people to focus on, being a class clown a little bit. You're right about making people laugh with you rather than at you.
Yep.
I think a lot of people who've been bullied can relate to that. Talk about some of the skills you had to develop growing up in order to deal with that.
I mean, getting a thick skin. I definitely developed a thick skin just going through all that. And then when I found sports, it gave me a purpose. Like, instead of acting out and trying to get people to like me, I was able to channel that into my performance on the court. And it was crazy. I always talk about it. I became popular when I started playing basketball. Yeah. You know, now I can be accepted because I'm doing this cool thing on the court. Yeah. But when I really felt the acceptance is when they got to know me and they were like, "Oh, BG, like you're really cool. Like, oh, or like I can relate to you, you know, more." And that's when I really felt the genuine like acceptance. Yeah. You know, I felt it a little bit, of course. You know, I'm young and I felt the stardom a little bit. I'm like, finally. Yeah. But it wasn't finally until they got to know me.
And then you found love.
I did.
Rel in the book, Sherelle.
Yes.
Because the other thing that obviously got you through really what was torment and being tormented. And in this case, by yourself. This is before you had anyone with you. It was Sherelle. It was her faith. Yep. And it was knowing that she was there that got you through it. But initially, you desperately were trying to get in touch with her. You desperately were sending these text messages. Pick up the phone. It was 2 a.m. Talk about being without her in that moment.
I was searching for her so hard. Like I said, I was sending message, calling, message, but it was the wee hours. I had did this fight so many times that, you know, she was still asleep and waiting for me to be on my next flight. And when I finally got her got to her, it was a little bit of relief because I know someone that loves me knows exactly what's going on, where I'm at. She can start rallying the troops to figure out the next course of action plan. I was lost.